You started in 1971 in Marks and Spencer's. Is anyone or anything that you were particularly inspired by back in 1971, those early?
Well, listen, I was very lucky. I mean, M&S is still quite a difficult company to get into. I think it interviews 6,000 or 7,000 people a year for about 200 places. I wasn't a graduate. I possibly had a bit of the gift of the gab, but I blagged my way in. And obviously, when I got in there, I was quite lucky to get in. The company was at the top of its of the pinnacle at the time. It had had uninterrupted profits for nearly 100 years. It was held up as being the beacon of the best of British, and I had a thoroughly good training. It had some thoroughly good people, and it was a lucky start for me.
Yeah. Was there any habit that you did pick up, or any advice that you got given in your early years that has stayed?
Well, one bit, I mean, it's a bit I've sort of touched on a little bit, and that is that I meet a lot of people, and I used to, when I was leading whatever business I was leading, I used to say to people when their annual appraisal or people who come for an interview or whatever else, what do you want to do? And you get two things. I want to be a chief executive. I want to be the boss. I want to make a lot of money. And I looked at them at sideways. Well, first of all, why do you want to be the chief executive? How do you know you're going to like it? It's not all it's cracked up to be. Yeah. It's quite stressful. Yeah. It's quite lonely, right? And anyway, there's only one of those in every company, so it's quite difficult to get there. But beware what you wish for. And the other thing is, people who say to me they want to make a lot of money. My mantra is a bit different, and that is, why Philip Green teases me about the fact that he's rich and I'm not. And that is that you shouldn't chase money, in my view. You should aim to do as good a job as you can in whatever profession you've chosen to do, and if you do that well, money will follow you. Right? If you go out and just say to yourself, I want to make a lot of money, very, 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 very few people actually achieve that aim, and most of them are dead unhappy. Yeah. Right?
If you just chase the money, it's like a dog going around in a circle. It just chases its tail the whole time.
So just do what you can do to the best of your ability, and you'll make a living. And anyway, there's a hell of a lot of really good jobs out there in middle management, in senior management, in companies. So in M&S, for instance, there are 50 different professions. You can be a food technologist, you can be a textile technologist, you can be a buyer, you can be an IT specialist, you can be a distribution specialist, you can be any damn thing you want. They're all well-paid jobs. They all have good terms and conditions. They all allow you to have a good work-life balance. Being a chief executive has a shit work-life balance. So trust me.
Because a lot of people think I'm not going to try and become the CEO or not trying to get to the top, because they automatically think that to get there you do have to lose the life out of the work-life balance equation. Is that always, do you think?
No, like everything in life, there are sacrifices, of course there are.
Yeah.
I mean, but in my particular case, I didn't aspire to be a chief executive genuinely. I never crossed my mind that I could, till I was about my mid-30s. Occasionally I would look around and think to myself that my boss wasn't that good. But if he wasn't that good and I wasn't that bad, why couldn't I do his job? Yeah. That was about as ambitious as I was. Yeah. I certainly had no ambition when I left M&S in 89, that I would ever reappear there 15 years later. If anybody planned that, it'd be a genius. It happened. Yeah. And I went to 4 jobs in the middle. So, that was just serendipity. Could I have done the job before, had I not had the experience in the interim? No. Yeah. And it was a blessing in disguise that I decided to leave one day, because I learnt more in the first 3 years after I left Marks and Spencer than I did in the preceding 7 or 8 that I stayed there.